this guy, obviously. I mean, how has he managed to survive this? I mean, because he's got the United States, talking a lot of crap about him, especially with that latest Georgia conflict and everything. How has he managed to keep Russia afloat?
Well, one, he recognizes race is real on some level,
Right.
and he's not selling out his base. And he has a big team. You know, these guys do not operate alone. He is operating a big team. He's operating a team that will stretch in Germany, and German soft power is something your listeners don't even know about, but it is epic. German soft power right now they want an insurgency they can run an insurgency in Cincinnati if they want it going. But you got basically, in my opinion, German soft power, and this is just my opinion, and the Kremlin, and that is a force that cannot be touched if they start moving together. And then you got the Italians, and they've been working behind the scenes together, gearing up for a German-Russian-Italian axis because it's an obvious gift. It's an obvious replacement to Anglosphere. What they need are white rabbits. What they need is a higher birth rate, and they need more white rabbits. Guess where those would come from?
The United States, other
There,
parts of Anglosphere.
there you go. So now that right then, when you do something like that, when you gear that up and they can't stop it because they went to war with Islam. They're too spread out around the world, and they're bankrupt. They're 100 trillion in the hole. He's not bankrupt. So he did it not alone. He may get credit for it, but he's got a big team, a team that you won't see. You can feel them, but you won't necessarily see them. And I don't even know how to pronounce his name correctly this morning. It's a little early. Medvedev, or however it's
Yeah,
pronounced.
that guy.
His yeah, his sidekick, Medvedev or whatever it is. He is definitely part of the team. You know, I think they play that good cop bad cop a little bit, but Putin has the looks of being in control, and he probably always will. But he has a big structure. And I go into how they came into power, in my opinion, and some other things like that. But he's going to end up being a very big deal. Why? Because he can be, once Anglosphere is on his back, once all the social engineering is on his back, and you're coming out of heavily demoralization. You know, you're not brainwashed so much anymore. They're starting to question things. He can come across Europe and basically be the savior of Europe, couldn't he?
Well, yeah, he could. I mean, and there's a lot of possibilities out there. You don't say anything is going to happen for 100% for sure, but you do point out some very interesting trends there. And like some of the listeners, maybe when you first listen to Follow the White Rabbit show, you might question some of these things he's saying. And I did at first, and then as you were talking about this German, Russian, Italian axis there, I watched after listening to your show. As the thing unfolded over the Opel car company over there in Germany, trying to pick up, I think, parts of Chrysler or something, and they won. They were in association with a Russian investment firm, and I watched as they made a move there, and then as the Obama administration cut them. And it was interesting to unfold, and I don't see all the angles you do, but I see enough to see that you're on the right track there.
Well, it's been in the New York Times. The New York Times has talked about it now. It's been in the works a long time, but it's a natural access. It's a natural access. And the Italian car company, I believe it was Fiat, came in there and bought parts of Chrysler. They're now in Detroit, and so they're all involved on some level. But Putin is a big front man, and he's got a lot going for him in that. Because one, he's not insolvent. Two, he's got a lot of natural resources. Three, he's next door to Germany, and he speaks German. He thinks German thoughts.
Well, and language is so important. I have a friend of mine who a person who shares politics with us, and he's actually taught his children to speak Gaelic, the Scottish Gaelic, as that's some of his ancestry. And it's interesting because I first questioned why he would do that. I mean, the children are bilingual; they speak English as well, in their home. But I've come to the conclusion that language is so important that the sort of language you think, that you speak, the sort of concepts that you can think, can actually influence your ability to understand the world around you. If you speak English, you're going to have one sort of way of viewing the world, and if you speak, say, Gaelic, you're going to have another way. If you speak Mexicanized Spanish, you're going to have another way of thinking.
Yeah, I think that's true. Right now, I'm learning German, so that should tell you something. And I could speak it somewhat, but now I'm trying to become fluent, so that should tell you something. I think language is important. I don't know about Scots Gaelic, but what's funny about the English language is it may be confined to the third world and only third world someday.
Well, I don't know. That would be an interesting development. Now, when you're talking about Russia here, one quick question for you: what do you think Russia's relationship with Iran is right now?
Oh, Russia's relationship with Iran? Well, right now they basically, Russia and China told them, went with the IAEA report or whatever it was, and told them that they signed on the report and told them that they had to be sanctioned or something. But the Chinese and the Russians will not agree to anything tough against them. They won't agree with anything tough enough to stop them. Who knows what they've sold them? Who knows what's there? It's kind of like Afghanistan. Our problems in Afghanistan are supposedly all having to do with the Russian, German, Italian axis. I don't know specifics, but they cause problems anywhere on the globe because he doesn't have to move. What we're doing is expending all this energy trying to control the world. He doesn't really have to do anything. All he has to do is give someone else something. All he has to do is keep us running, keep us moving.
Do you think
that's
that
what they're doing?
Do you think? Well, I've heard that Osama bin Laden long ago. I mean, this is around right after 9/11. He talked about his intent to wage economic war on the West by exhausting us economically, and then just I think it was yesterday I saw Ron Paul talk about, say, even if we won, quote unquote, won Iraq or Afghanistan tomorrow, it would have been too expensive. Do you think that those wars over there or those occupations are bankrupting us?
Yes. They had to go to war with the Muslim world because we have our oil supplies there, and we have a dower. We have a currency backed by. We have a dower that's basically that oil's priced in dollars. So
A petrodollar.
be there. Yeah, we have a petrodollar, and we have a commodity. We have a commodity-based currency, but we don't have any commodities. We have a petrodollar. We don't have any petrol, so we had to be there. We had to be there. They went in there and tried to change Islam, and two things rabbits don't like. They don't like someone trying to kill them, and they don't like someone trying to change them.
Right. And it hasn't really worked out that well. Now, there's somebody else that has a lot of oil, and they might be willing to deal with us if we play nice with them. Who's that?
That's Russia.
Right.
Right, Russia has probably the second or maybe even the largest oil supply. No one really knows because the Russians, we cook our books one way when it comes to unemployment. They say unemployment's 10%. I guarantee you it's a lot higher. Russians generally play with their books when it comes to natural gas, when it comes to natural resources. No one really knows what they have because they don't tell you. But they got a lot. They got number 2 after Saudi Arabia. But we could have already hung pipelines. They offered to put tunnels underneath Siberia. The distance between Siberia and Alaska is nothing. Look at the map. They offered to pay for tunnels underneath there. They offered to pay for all kinds of stuff for us to deal with them. But the people in charge of the neocons, especially the pink rabbits, they cannot handle Russia. The idea of Russia and America coming together terrifies them. It just terrifies them. They got to play divide and rule. They got to run the world or nothing at all. It's just it's their mentality.
Okay, let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about the pink rabbits and their conflict model here. Why do they run conflict?
Well, I don't know. It's like saying the pink rabbits are the conflict. Why do your white rabbit neighbors believe they're racist? Why did our ancestors think they were evil sinners for hundreds of years? I don't really have whys. I can only point out the obvious. They love conflict. They love anything that causes conflict, and they pretty much are good at it. Mm-hmm. They love fighting. They love antagonizing. They love harassing. Right now, there'll be a little pink rabbit on Stormfront. Right now, it'll be on Stormfront, hiding as someone else, instigating conflict. It's what they do. I don't know.
Right.
It's kind of like the moon comes out and they go into the little conflict mode once a month. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't have Ys.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, it is an inherent part of their nature. I think anybody who's run into a pink rabbit knows that there's something just eating in them that they have to start stuff up.
And you're talking about specifically not all pink rabbits are Hebrews, but you're talking about the little Hebrew pink